Box comes from South Wales, from Swansea. A beautiful summer's evening outside, but inside the atmosphere red hot. We're in the Brangwyn Hall, Swansea, for British Championship boxing. Floyd Havard defending his super feather title against the former champion from Manchester, Michael Armstrong.
Ladies and gentlemen, producing and introducing the boxers to you. First, in the red corner with the black and the gold shorts, with a professional record of 18 wins and 1 draw from 25 contests, 9 inside the distance, and weighing in at 9 stone and a quarter of a pound. Will you welcome, please, from Manchester, the former British super featherweight champion and challenger for the title, Michael Armstrong.
Well, it's not light featherweight, of course, super featherweight, the division we're fighting for tonight.
In the blue corner with the all-black shorts, with 30 wins from 32 contests.
That's the division.
19 by way of the big KO, and weighing in at 9 stone exactly, making the second defence of his title. Will you welcome, please, the reigning British super featherweight champion, Floyd Havard. Ladies and gentlemen, 12 3-minute rounds of boxing. I thank you all.
Well, I've seen you both, you're professionals, now act like it. Let's look to both of you.
Second zone, round 5.
So round 5 then of the scheduled 12 rounder here at the Brangwyn Hall in Swansea, where Floyd Havard is defending his British super featherweight title against Michael Armstrong. The early part of the fight, Armstrong's, but round 4 was a good one for Havard. Now, can he capitalise on that? Havard, southpaw.
He's covering well, isn't he? He's just peeking out from behind his hands and then opening up with the straight 1-2s.
Well, if these were the preordained tactics, they're working pretty well so far. He walked onto a right hook in round 2, which would have felled a tree, but he somehow weathered that storm. And he's just been sort of edging his way back, and the defence really has been very good. He's had to take a few, but he's perhaps, just perhaps, on the evidence of the last 45 seconds or so of the last round, perhaps he's drawn some of Armstrong's sting now. We shall see.
Yeah, I don't think you expect to go into a title fight and not take a few anyway. That's what makes a champion.
Well, no, you're quite right. You've got to grit your teeth and tough your way through it.
But Armstrong is still strong and he's still getting through with some, Dave.
Armstrong certainly looks the fitter and the stronger of these two, but appearances can be very misleading. A late countryman of yours, Nicky, the late Johnny Owen, who looked as though a strong breeze would blow him away. He could have gone 20 rounds, 25 rounds.
And of course, Floyd Havard's fellow go-signing man, Colin Jones, was the one of the biggest punches pound for pound I've ever seen.
Gosh, yes.
And didn't look very muscular at all.
No, you don't have to be all pumped up to be fit, to be strong.
No, it's technique. But this raw power from Armstrong, I mean, half of these, they're only half getting through, but they're cuffing, but they're still, they're hurtful blows.
Yeah, very much so. All you've got to do is look at Havard's face in the corner between rounds to see that he's marked up a bit on both cheeks. But he does seem, whenever he comes down off his toes and plants a couple of shots, Armstrong, they're certainly hurting the challenger. And the southpaw jab really finding the range now.
That's good stuff from Floyd Havard. I don't believe he's opened up enough throughout this fight. I think he should have started more positively. He's such an accurate puncher and so quick.
Well, 12-round contest. It's certainly not the sprint distance. But that was another pretty decent round for Havard. You can argue the toss whether that was a shared round or whether Havard won it outright. You see that little sort of abrasions on his cheeks I was telling you about? He's certainly taken 1 or 2. But he's still there. And bearing in mind what we often say in a title fight, the challenger has got to go in and win. He's got to take the title. Armstrong's tried to do just that. Armstrong has fought absolutely the right sort of fight so far. And the fascinating thing with just over half the fight remaining is to see what Havard can do to counter this, because even if he did take that last round, he's still behind on my card.
Yes, he is. I think he's chosen the tactics. Yeah, some good punches coming through from Armstrong. That right hook again. It's an unorthodox punch that Havard's not used to. And the uppercuts. He's very good inside. You've got to give him credit. But I think Havard's chosen his tactics and is sticking to them and boxing very well.
6th round then, as John Keane watches on, who's really refereed this fight extraordinarily well. Hallmark of a good referee, you've lost sight of the fact he's in there most of the time. He's just been unobtrusive, let them get on with it. It's been a clean fight, but he's handled it pretty well with a light touch.
He gets very square on Armstrong when he's in close. His balance is not that good, and when he starts to tire, you may see him lose his balance a little bit with these counters from Floyd Havard. They're very square on. Clever stuff from Havard, isn't it?
Yes, I'd just like to see him do a little bit more work. Armstrong hasn't really stopped throwing punches since the opening bell. All right, we've established that not all of them are getting through, but they do catch the eye and they do give the appearance that he's always busy, he's always working, where you don't get that from Havard.
That's right, and sometimes with a very fit man, the only way to make them tire, for them to tire, is to make them tire.
Yeah. Midway through the round. And the pace really has been unrelenting so far. And the small Manchester contingent getting behind Michael Armstrong. And the Welsh crowd have really been largely silenced by Armstrong's efforts.
He's working non-stop inside. It's a tremendous pace. He's dangerous with his head. He nestles the head into Floyd Havard's. I'm surprised there are no cuts. I hope there aren't any cuts through the head.
Well, he's getting away with it. And you get away with what you can get away with until the referee tells you to stop it.
That's right. But every now and again, Floyd Havard comes out with this peekaboo style and connects with a few good punches which give the home crowd something to cheer about.
Well, to be honest, for me at any rate, he's not doing it quite enough.
No, he's not.
And the frustrating thing is that he looks so good when he does do it.
Yes, he's a bit negative in his thinking, I think, Floyd Havard. A bit too safety first for me.
Well, it's another pretty close round, and you're sort of getting to the stage now where, for the Havard camp to have any real confidence about the outcome of this contest, Havard really has got to take 2 or 3 rounds fairly soon by quite considerable margins to get himself back, because all these rounds are close and they can go either way.
Yes, and good work from Havard there. But then you see Michael Armstrong falling with the head again. And I think that's where the bruising around Havard's face is coming from, to be honest with you.
And a rare glimpse of Havard letting go a couple.
He's looking very calm in the corner, but he's still, as you say, 2 or 3 rounds behind, probably 2 rounds behind.
Well, we're in the back straight, and certainly on my card, Armstrong, good couple of rounds ahead. And apart from a little glimpse in the fifth. However, has found it very difficult to wrest back the initiative that he surrendered early in the contest. And the frustrating thing is, I think that if he actually set his mind to it, he's well capable about boxing and perhaps even out punching the challenger.
Yes, I think he's a big puncher, Floyd Havard.
But it's frustrating to watch if you're a Havard supporter, because he's got the height advantage, he's got the reach advantage, he's not really using it. That's a little better.
Yeah, he's jabbing very well this round and following up with the left cross. But back comes Armstrong, very strong.
Well, he's just totally focused and determined as Armstrong. I think he's finding a cracking fight, and if he can keep this up for 12 rounds, there won't be any doubt in my mind that he's done enough to take this title back. A good way to go yet. We're still only in the 7th.
A lot of people thought that Michael Armstrong was going to be blown away by Floyd Havard. When he boxed Neil Haddock, he was shaken by almost every punch Haddock threw and stopped. I think he was decked 3 times. And I think Havard's a bigger puncher than Haddock. But yet he stood up, you know, to all these punches Havard's thrown today.
Yeah, fearsome couple of boys, the Haddock brothers. One doesn't get you, the other one will.
That's right.
Neil and Nigel. A little better from Havard. Certainly not having to go looking for Armstrong. And a lot of these punches that Armstrong's throwing, just little arm shots, nothing more, but he's always in Havard's face.
Oh, good shots.
See, takes one, back he comes.
I think the better work is coming from Havard, but he's not doing quite enough, which is making it a very close fight.
Well, Havard taking those on the gloves.
Good shot.
Don't go anywhere. There's more from Super Fights after the break.
Now, John King calling a timeout. I think a little bit of excess grease on Armstrong's eyebrows. Yes, there we go. Just redistributed. Round 8.
I don't know why they put those big lumps of grease on the eyes, Dave. I mean, they tend to just go in your eye and affect your vision. Nothing wrong with a nice even layer of Vaseline. Why these big lumps?
Oh, I guess it's the principle that more is better. Not always the case.
No, I was going to say that, not always the case.
So round 8 then. And we're watching what has really turned into an absorbing British super featherweight title fight. 9 stone 4 division. The champion, Floyd Havard from Swansea, South Wales, in the all black, against the challenger and former champion in the black and gold, Michael Armstrong from Manchester.
Armstrong is still applying the same amount of pressure, Dave, but he's looking rather tired and very, very open. If Havard was to open up, he'd catch him at will, I think.
Well, the question is, how much has Havard got in the tank? Because he's been finding a defensive battle right the way through.
Yeah, taking those shots on the arms all night will certainly weaken them. But he's very square on, I think very open, Michael Armstrong.
Coming in once again, head down. Getting away with it though.
Havard hasn't really employed the uppercut tonight.
Now that would be the classic counter, wouldn't it?
Well, yes, because you can see Armstrong square on, leaning forward with his head in front of his gloves. There you see, an uppercut would be perfect. But then it's not always as easy when you're in the ring to see these openings.
A smear of blood, in fact more than a smear of blood, under Armstrong's nose now. And 1, 2, 3 good right hands from the champion, all finding the target on the side of Armstrong's head.
He's gradually meeting Armstrong with the same volume of punches, stepping his pace up.
He is starting to look tired, Armstrong. You're quite right, Nicky. Some of the snap and precision from the early rounds has gone. And he's getting caught just a little bit more than he was. And perhaps, well, tried one up the middle then, and nearly worked.
It's the shot Havard should be using. But then he's doing very well this round anyway.
Well, the fact that we took advantage, we took the timeout into account. Perhaps the timekeeper didn't. And anyway, that's the end of round 8. And Havard, despite the lumps and the bumps on the surface, still looking pretty fresh, still looking alert. Well, that was a much better round for him. He certainly took that round, closed the gap, but still got work to do.
As you say, it's subjective, the scoring. He could be 3 or 4 rounds behind. He could be in front. We don't know.
Yeah, you're quite right. Right, they come for the 9th, schedule 12, remember. Well, this is better from Havard, opening up right at the start of this round. And not to be outdone, Armstrong comes winging in. Once again, Havard taking a lot of them on the arms and gloves, but 1 or 2 are getting through. And it's at this stage of the fight when you're tired, the reflexes maybe not quite as sharp as they were early on. This is when mistakes are made. This is when and where fights are won and lost. Good left uppercut from the challenger. No real power behind it, though.
I think he's using the theory the best form of defence is attacked this round, because he's hurt. I think he's tired.
There's another decent left hook from Havard as Armstrong came in. And Havard at this stage certainly looking the stronger of the two.
He's still looking very fresh, and Armstrong's just catching, hitting the arms now. Covering well there. But gets caught with a good right hand. Used the uppercut there, Dave, and got through with it, the right uppercut.
Yes, and Armstrong just looking just a little ragged now. Havard definitely trying to pick the pace up midway through the 9th. And the crowd perhaps sensing this, getting behind the champion. And Armstrong really almost punching himself out against the champion's defence.
He's starting to hold there a little. We haven't seen him do that all night. Good shots.
Oh, and these are good shots from the champion, and every one of them is getting through, finding the target. Once again, Armstrong comes winging back in. Good, solid jabs. Oh, what a good right hand, the left hook. That surely is going to finish it.
That's got to be good night.
Oh, he is not going to make this count. Totally bewildered, counted out, and what a tremendous finish from Floyd Havard. Set him up with the right, finished him with the left. Tremendous.
Unbelievable punching from Floyd Havard. He's still very fresh. You've got to feel sorry for Michael Armstrong.
And poor Michael Armstrong, well, they're doing just the right thing, keeping him down on the canvas. You don't want to drag the poor fellow up to his feet or onto his stool. Just let him come round in his own time. It's absolutely the correct thing to do, what they're doing right now. Just let him gently come round till he feels like getting up. Let's have a look at this finish, Nicky.
Yeah, sure. Floyd looking very sharp. Tees him off the right jab, and oh, what a right hook. And he's so square on, going backwards, finish off the left cross. A wicked punch. From a different angle, the right hook. He's gone there, just falling back, and Floyd sees it. Put everything into that.
That was a
cross.
free shot. Two-punch combination finish, and what a way to keep your title. And Michael Armstrong, good challenge, and you never know. Well, we shall never know until we ask John Keane how he had this fight scored. But it's good to see that he's up, sitting on the stool. Still a little bemused. Still not quite sure what has happened to him.
They look after him well. You've got Dr. Ray Munsell, the Welsh doctor. Great doctor. There's a lot of hard work in boxing.
And obligatory now, just a night's observation in hospital following a knockout. You've got no choice in the matter. You go. And that's quite right too. And in the long term, you have to wonder now about Armstrong's career. No, only at the age of 26. Still got time to come again, but with this fella in charge at the moment, well, difficult to see what opportunities exist for him. And we'll get the official verdict from Alan Hughes. He's clambered into the ring.
Ladies and gentlemen, in 2 minutes 41 seconds of round 9, by a count-out, Floyd Havard is the winner.
And I tell you, you will not see many better or more comprehensive finishes to a title fight than the one you've just seen executed by Floyd Havard. A perfect way to keep your title.
Join us next time for more